Dr. Sybil Thomas, University UHV Coordinator, University of Mumbai. Namaste, ma'am, for sharing the SIP experience. Namaste, ma'am. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Over to you.
Yes, thank you so much. Just right. Warm greetings to each one of you from the UHV cell of University of Mumbai. So at the University of Mumbai, we had established a UHV cell under the leadership of our Vice Chancellor, Honorable Professor Suhas Pednekar, our Pro Vice Chancellor, Honorable Professor R.D. Kulkarni, and we have a team of 12 people who work together for the conduction of the activities and spreading the vision of UHV at the University of Mumbai. So these are a list of our committee members. And if you see, we have a range of teachers that is from different disciplines, as well as a combination of university departments and affiliated colleges as well. The disciplines range from library and information sciences to nanotechnology, philosophy, education, business communication. So we've seen that every discipline in our university has been represented as a part of the UHV cell. We had an ESIP program under the guidance of Shri Umesh Jadhav ji, who helps us in planning the various UHV activities for the colleges, especially under the AICTE. We had this journey undertaken to accomplish the ESIP program, that is UHV 1, based on the NEP 2020 mandate and the University of Mumbai's vision statement, which has in their vision statement itself, we have explicitly mentioned our commitment to spreading values such as equality, justice among our students as they would pass out from us. And therefore, this conceptualization of the ESIP program, which we termed as an ESIP sampler. We prepared a schedule for the ESIP based on the AICTE schedule. We then discussed and went into discussions on the kind of content and tools for the AICTE program of AICTE. Decided on the platform for providing this program. And this was taken from the ICT department, that is, we call it as UCC, University Computation Center. They provided us with a Zoom platform, sent invites to various colleges, took registrations, conducted this program through the Zoom and YouTube facility, since our limit was restricted due to the capacity of the Zoom subscription that the university had. We then went in to formulate a pre-SIP survey form that was filled in by the registered participants and was made mandatory. The purpose for this was in order to get to know the students, their expectations, and make sure that our programs are relevant and catered to the kind of students that that have registered for the program. We had our inaugural session for this on 25th January 2021. We had 5 intervention sessions. We had, why do I call this as intervention sessions? Because later, in a few minutes from now, I would be talking to you that we took it as an experiment and we developed a research approach. And therefore, these sessions were a kind of an intervention that we provided in order to reach the desired outcomes that we laid for ourselves. We then looked in and encouraged participants to share their reflections during each session, either by unmuting themselves, so in the form of oral expressions. We also had them to share certain queries that they had in the form of oral as well as in the chat box. We had a post-survey form filled up by the participants. Of course, this pre and post was again done with the entire vision to see to it that we are also able to map the kind of progresses that we have made. We had a test conducted online. We also had a valedictory session for the ESIP. That was, since we started on January 25th, the valedictory session was on the 30th of January. We had certificates issued to successful participants, and we also had analysis and reporting as an integral part of this entire journey for conduction of the ESIP program. Just give me a minute. I think my slides have frozen, so I need to, sorry. So what were the kind of sessions that we had, since it was a sampler program that we were offering to the various colleges? We had these different sessions, right from basic aspirations and their fulfillment. We had aspiration concerns at the individual level, relationship trust, under relationship respect, reverence and affection, attitude and love, society and natural environment. These were our resource persons, right from Shri Jitendra Narula ji and Shri Alok Pandey ji, Shri Umesh Jadhav ji, who took most of the sessions. And then we had Dr. Gopal Babu ji. So this program, we wanted to know how undergraduate students perceive human values for themselves and regarding education and their lives, what were their perceptions. And therefore we had these questions that we wanted to know from the students before the program itself with regard to what priority students give to different parameters of their life, what are the expectations they have from education, and what are the opinions of students in different areas of life. So these were the questions that we, to inform us as to how we go about understanding the students' expectations and being relevant to the students. These were the questions that we asked. And therefore, since we had this approach of knowing from the students, catering to their needs, and then seeing the kinds of shifts that they made, shifts in terms of the cognitive movements and understanding, we had decided we would look at this as a through the approach of research, wherein we generate knowledge from the students' responses, and then we share and disseminate learnings. So that's why we adopted this research approach. So these are a glimpse of the kind of questions that we had asked our students. And based on these questions, we analyzed and we were able to take this whole research approach. And because it is a research approach that we adopted, we then did follow the various steps of any research program. So we had a data collection, and for which we had tools that were our pre-survey form, our post-survey form, question raised by students in the chat box, YouTube and Zoom. And also we had personal data sheets which were prepared to collect information about the kind of presage variables that they come with, like the name, the kind of branches of study, the streams, branches or streams of study, the kind of age groups that they fall in, etc. Now, in order to study this pre-survey data as well as the post-survey data, and analyze the kind of reflections that they use, we used the quantitative paradigm where it was quantifiable. We used the qualitative paradigm where from sentences and reflections, we were able to form themes, codes, and categories to inform us. Therefore, we said we followed the descriptive research and the evaluation research, where we use the black box model, where we assume that students come in with a certain kind of profiles, presage variables, etc. We provide inputs based on that. Then they go through an intervention program, that is the kind of sessions, discussions, etc. And then we study the effects of this program that they study. So here we were concerned about inputs and the products, while we had in a way, we wouldn't study inputs per se in terms of analysis and discussions of the kind of inputs, but studying the effect of the input base, the effect of the intervention based on the outputs of the study. We also looked at various theoretical frameworks for capacity building, change in life skills, OECD framework, etc., which we studied in order to inform us before we really went into the analysis of the whole thing. Okay. Sorry, again, I'm facing some problem. Yeah. So this is how our entire, it is, I know, too small for you, but what were the dilemmas students faced? What were the kind of knowledge, skills, and competencies that they developed? What were the attitudinal change that they showed? This is how we took out codes from these sentences and then we placed them this way. And therefore, because of change in knowledge, expressed confidence in change in skills, as well as perceived attitude and value change. What are the competencies that they showed? They at least claimed to have shown differences with regard to social growth, practical growth in terms of the kind of change in behavior for their student life, etc. The kind of cognitive growth that they express, that they perceive to have changed, as well as the emotional growth is what we looked at in terms of competencies. And then we went on to do, how do we look at orientation towards action? Like, how did they express that because of these programs, what are the change in orientations that they have, and the kind of actions that they claim, according to them, were the benefits that they would have in the kind of actions they would use henceforth in terms of their behavior. This is how we use the visual diagram of analysis of words, sentences, etc. So summarizing this, some key reflections that we thought I would like to share with you on behalf of our cell is some of the things that came very strongly is money isn't important, but relationships and prosperity is. They talked about the kind of, that the base of any relationships that they shared was trust, understanding, transparency. They also shared that sorry, constantly I'm facing this thing of getting frozen. Let me stop, exit. Yeah. Engaging in social responsibilities and examples they gave, they promised and gave us that they would be engaged in gifting, in helping the poor, gifting a smile kind of projects, being happy, finding happiness in activities that they undertake, education, how they would consider more on focusing on the human aspects of it. They would, with regard to environment, they would try to plant at least one tree and take care of it. They would look at need to consciously make an effort to understand mindsets. And under that, like, for example, they would think why somebody is saying or doing certain things rather than what they are saying. And they would also, they said, they would also try and look at the final aspect of this whole thing, that is with regard to attempts to understand their point of view. And instead of just blindly trying to, put in their ideas, etc., they would try to blindly reject ideas of others. They would try to attempt other people's point of view. So friends, we see that this is in relation to the kinds of topics that we had chosen for this, that is with regard to relationships, trust, environment, society, and basic aspirations. And these reflections that I shared with you were a reflection of all these different areas that we picked up sentences to show how the students were benefited. We also see that I would like to end by saying, so therefore, some guiding principles that helped us in this entire journey is to learn to do and to do to learn. We considered that the ESIP was a site of learning, not only for students, but for each one of us as a part of the team of resource persons as well as organizers. So it was not more about what we could give them, how we could change them, but how we also learn from them and gain certain insights into realities of lives of the youth that we are dealing with, and from their own struggles, what we also take to ourselves in terms of learnings for ourselves. And therefore we said our guiding principle was learn to do and to do to learn. And therefore, the first thing that we kept in mind is, even in the initiation phase, as to when we looked at the initiation of the ESIP, we tried to look at it as holistically as possible in terms from a multidimensional perspective. We tried to negotiate maximum with among ourselves. And of course, we had with us Shri Umesh Jadhav ji also to guide these entire discussions. We went into detailed plannings, friends planning almost every day. After each session and even before, it was like days of planning, taking meticulously into consideration every aspect. During the execution as well, we had different teams that were working and looking at different things, different aspects as a part of you all. We had Shri Umesh, we had Shri Mohan Rao sir, we had even Divakar Kadamji, etc., who were looking into the minute aspects of the kind of questions to be asked into the pre-survey, post-survey, looking at details, training, volunteers, etc. We had a few of us who looked into the IT part and support, the invitations to be sent out, another group of people looking at these things. So we were having different subgroups and we looked into the execution. Control here again, we had a common reporting base, but freedom and execution to each of the teams. There were times of lot of discussions, differences coming together, but yes, providing freedom at the same time control. We had evaluation, which was an integral part of not only evaluating what students learned, but how did we fare every day in order to improve at our whole functioning. And this did not end. We had this follow-up sessions. That means after this whole thing, we had these students who would then go back into their colleges. The UHV cell regularly, based on information given to us, send emails to the colleges on the kind of programs that they have at college level, having these cells functioning, discussions, etc., where the UHV cell of the university also provided support, as well as the UHV cell in some way or the other was a part of it. So these were the kind of follow-up activities. We also have UHV 1 that was made a part of the curriculum for the colleges. UHV 2, where we have made progress as being a paper in the pharmacy, pharmacy board of studies have passed it. The engineering board of studies is yet looking at it, and we are looking for a favorable response soon from there. But at the university, providing a guiding syllabi, which we worked at the UHV cell of University of Mumbai, called all the board of studies members under the science and technology faculty with the dean, and we had a round of meetings with them and submitted this officially to the university. And the output, as I told you, was pharmacy and engineering, where we clearly see some differences that are there. And we are looking forward to see that more inroads be made. So therefore, again, I would like to end by saying learning is mutual. SIPs are sites of learning for all, are also sites for generating new knowledge. And that was through the kind of report that we brought out, was a research report, which we would also put up. We disseminated and put it also at the University of Mumbai website for the perusal of all. So with these few words, thank you so much for the opportunity given to share our experiences at the University of Mumbai.